It's Joe Biden. And don't start talking like a Republican about asking whether or not he's president. It's Joe Biden.
How's everybody doing? My name is Anthony Brian Logan, and today we got to talk about Vice President Kamala Harris getting a little bit upset, a little bit flustered over a question that she was asked by radio host Charlamagne the Guy. And this particular question was on his Comedy Central show. Not quite sure what it's called, but it doesn't really matter right now, so I'll move on. The whole point is that she got upset because he asked her about who's the real president. Is it Joe Manchin or is it Joe Biden? Now, throughout the entire 20-minute interview, which I did watch and I'll link to in the description box, Charlamagne was asking really, really pointed questions that Democrats don't normally ask Democrats. And part of me is thinking that it could be a little bit of revenge because remember, Joe Biden went on The Breakfast Club with Charlamagne the Guy and said this famous quote.
You got more questions, but I tell you, if you have a problem figuring out whether you're for me or Trump, and you ain't black.
So I know Charlamagne's getting hit with this video all day, every day, multiple times per day on Twitter, on Instagram, everywhere. So he's like, all right, you know what? I'm not going to get embarrassed like this. I'm going to go out here and ask some really serious, pointed questions. Now, before I go any further, let's roll the clip. In this clip, you're going to see and hear what was going on with the question and how she got upset, why she got upset. And after we get done watching that, I'll come back. I'll talk about what was said there. Then I'll give you the rest of my 2 cents and my deep detail analysis. And then I'll wrap it on up with a nice bow on top. So without further ado, let's go ahead and roll it.
Who's the superhero that's going to speak against Joe Manchin? No. I want to know who's the real president of this country. Is it Joe Biden or Joe Manchin?
I'm sorry. I interrupted. I don't think the vice president can hear you. It's Simone. I'm so sorry, Charlamagne. We have to wrap.
She can hear me.
Can you hear me? Can you hear me now?
Can you hear me, Madam Vice President?
So I'm sorry. We got to wrap.
Oh.
So I'm sorry to interrupt.
They're acting like they can't hear me. Y'all see that?
I can hear you.
Oh, so who's the
I
real?
can hear you.
So who's the real president of this country? Is it Joe Manchin or Joe Biden, Madam Vice President?
Come on, Charlamagne.
Come
on. It's Joe Biden.
I can't tell sometimes.
No. It's Joe Biden. And don't start talking like a Republican about asking whether or not he's president.
Do you think Joe Manchin is a problem?
It's Joe Biden. And I'm vice president. And my name is Kamala Harris.
All right, so you saw that, you heard that. Now, there's so much here, I'm not really sure where to start. I guess the first thing would be about Charlamagne. He is still firmly on the left because throughout this entire thing, he was talking about, Joe Manchin, he's blocking the progress. It's just one guy getting in the way. So he's in favor of the democratic process, of the Democratic Party. He likes what they got going on. He likes the whole Build Back Better. He likes what Joe Biden is doing. Despite him being embarrassed by Joe Biden, he likes what he's doing, but still kind of wants to enact some kind of revenge on the administration. It's weird. But it's not just Joe Manchin, Charlamagne the Guy, or anyone else. Kamala Harris actually rightfully said in this video that you have Republicans too. It ain't just one person. So, they say, it's one guy. No, 51 guys. You got a 50-50 split. Plus Joe Manchin, Kristen Sinema, or anybody else. That's the problem, not just one person. It's not a one-party system as of yet, and hopefully we don't go down that road, so I'll move on. The whole point is that Kamala Harris kind of kept answering that question that was being asked over and over again. Then, toward the very end, where the clip came in, he's like, hey, who's the president for real? I mean, is it Joe Biden or Joe Manchin? What's going on? And then that's when the staffer, Simone Sanders, jumped in. She's, quote unquote, jumped in numerous times to defend the Biden administration. Remember this clip?
In the neighborhoods we come from, the three.
So if there ever was a political foot soldier, okay, somebody you want to be with in the foxhole, it'll probably be Simone Sanders. Okay, because that tackle right there, you're talking about Lawrence Taylor snapping what was it, Joe Montana or somebody's leg. You want somebody like that in your corner, Democrat, Republican, whatever, but I'll move on. Anyway, she jumped in and saved the day yet again. She's like, hey, we got to wrap it up. That's enough. But we all know what that means. That means, hey, okay, we're getting close to the end and you're asking a question we don't want to ask. We don't want to answer. So we wrap it up. We're not going to talk to you no more. So he understood that. It was like, man, they're pretending they can't hear me. What's going on? Kamala's just sitting there kind of glazed over, waiting for her next order. That's what that was. Before this clip, she didn't have this whole net rolling thing going on. It wasn't too much of that. Not really. It was just like normal HR lady, right? But then when Simone Sanders came in, all of a sudden, here's a battery in your back, Kamala. Here's a battery in your back. Now go off. Then it became all this neck stamping and Biden's, trying to get more attitude, trying to get more combative. That's what that was. And ultimately, it didn't even really work because people can see right through, Kamala? People can see right through her. They know that this is not a real person. Same thing as Joe Biden. They're just kind of empty suits or pantsuits or dresses, whatever they got on. They're just empty and they do whatever the Democratic Party tell them. Just like she was sitting there like a deer in the headlights while the staffer was running the show. That's what's going on. The staffers, the interns, the quote unquote deep state swamp, the big money people, the farmer companies, they're running the show. It's not Joe Biden and Kamala Harris. So people talking about, who's going to be the president in 2024? It's probably not going to be Joe because he's 1,000 years old already and already got 1 foot in, 1 foot out. If you know what I'm talking about, in 2 more clicks, he'd be in the upper room, right? So it's like, who's going to be the person that runs in 2024? Is it going to be Joe? Is it going to be Kamala? I think not. I think Joe has a low approval rating. He doesn't even know where he's at. And Kamala's even doing worse than he is. During the primary, she didn't do well. And she's not doing herself any favors by going out there, doing these interviews, talking and whatnot. So ultimately, this was unnecessary to do. And I like how Charlamagne also said that he's not really seen her. It's like, where you been? I've never not really seen you. You kind of just been, they kind of like put you in the background. They've kind of taken you off the road. You're not really doing too many appearances. You pop up every now and again. And I feel like they have her doing diversity stuff, like going on Charlamagne the God show. Okay, you got a person that's kind of black a little bit, kind of a person of color. All right, go over there with the black guy, do his show. We ain't going to send Joe Biden down there because, number one, we don't want to have him, we don't want to have tougher questions because of the whole you ain't black thing. And then it'd be cool. Black person, kind of black person, great, fantastic. And send a black intern down there too, Simone Sanders, in case things get kind of weird, right? That's what's going on. That's what they got her doing. All kind of diversity stuff. Nothing really beyond that. Beyond just the appearances, beyond just being a figurehead or empty pantsuit, she is nothing. And that's how the Democratic Party operates nowadays. So as I close, I want to say this. Shout out to Joe Manchin from my birthplace, West Virginia, for standing up for what's right, doing the right thing, okay? And Kristen Sinema, everybody else that's over there doing the right thing, shout out to y'all. You guys know these spending bills are ridiculous. We're already in a ridiculous amount of debt. We done spent way too much money because of this pandemic, whatever you want to call it. We done already spent too much money that we don't have, got into more debt. Inflation is crazy. Try buying a hamburger. It's going to be $1,000 for one hamburger from McDonald's, right? It's getting to the point where it's ridiculous. And it was already ridiculous before they kind of came in office with all these shutdowns and restrictions and lockdowns and whatnot. I want to see more hard-hitting interviews from the left to the left, because please don't get it twisted. As I was saying earlier, and as I've said before, people like Charlamagne the God and other kind of lefties, they're still on the left. Charlamagne wants to build back better and all that kind of stuff. I'm not sure if he really knows what's going to be the result of that. I'm not sure if he knows about the pending inflation that had happened more than it already is right now under his Build Back Better. I'm not quite sure if he knows that he won't really get anything. His life won't change. The average person's life won't change. It's just a bunch of money that the government will spend on whatever they want to spend on. It get Nancy Pelosi another beach house somewhere in California or Miami, Florida, or wherever she wants to be. It'll do that. But what will it do for the average man? Nothing. It'll help Big Pharma get plenty of money, right? They can print money from all these things they sending around the world. I won't say what they are right now, but you guys know what I'm talking about. It'll help them, but what about you? But anyway, I want to see the left go against the left much harder because they're doing ridiculous things and needs to get called out, not just from us on our side. But I think I'll leave that right there for now. And what say you? How do you feel about this interview with Charlamagne the God and Kamala Harris? Have you seen the entire thing? Whatever your thoughts are, let me know in the comments below. You guys know where I stand with it. This is very interesting. I like how Kamala Harris she kind of switched up. You know, really what it revealed to me is what I've already known is that Kamala Harris is phony. Okay, she does whatever she's told, just like Joe Biden. And this is part of the reason why Trump was the guy that won 2016 is because he was so different. He wasn't a politician. He wasn't a guy who's going to go out there and tell you what you wanted to hear. He would just speak his mind straight from the heart. And people appreciate authenticity. Whether I like all of what you say, whether I like all of your ideas is not really important necessarily. It is to a certain extent, obviously, because if I'm going to vote for you, I'm going to vote for your policies. But it's also very important to be authentic. Don't say one thing 1 minute and a different thing the next minute. Don't act one way 1 minute and act totally different the next minute. Just be yourself, be authentic, and don't be a drone that's pretty much weekend at Bernie'd or Borged throughout the United States, masquerading as an elected official serving the best interests of your people. But whatever your thoughts are, please let me know in the comments below. And that's all I got to say for this video. If you like what you heard, please comment, rate, share, and subscribe. Peace.